what are the biggest challenges in this field?
I think we don't need to educate everyone about the technology behind Bitcoin, but we have to bring out what we can do or what it brings for the different peoples around the world. So Bitcoin is a new solution and we can build a lot of things in this area. And today, not everybody understands the technology behind things like Bluetooth, or not every person understands how we can phone each other. So I don't think we have to educate every person about technology behind, but it's important to bring out what it brings.
Welcome to the Smart Cities Council podcast and its special series with our global thought leaders. Smart Cities Council's global thought leadership team is an exclusive group of subject matter experts driving policy and standards, setting industry trends, conducting research, and building and sharing knowledge to advance our mission. My name is Fanny Melles. I am the global thought leader for youth engagement at the Smart Cities Council. And today, I welcome Pascal Hostetler to the podcast, who is the global thought leader for blockchain. Pascal has been part of the blockchain space for more than 7 years. He's an experienced professional in the field of blockchain technology, as well as the Internet of Things, also known as IoT. Pascal plays an active part of a fast-growing IoT startup that realizes innovative international IoT projects. He has set up his own blockchain department at Light System IT. He has been offering blockchain workshops for several years and supports customers in handling blockchains, for example, by helping them to store cryptocurrencies themselves. Since his first contact with Bitcoin 8 years ago, he has been fascinated by the innovative blockchain technology behind it and has been working with this technology on a daily basis. His degree in business informatics enables him to combine business requirements with IT solutions and develop effective solutions. Pascal is known for his ability to explain complex concepts simply and share his knowledge with others. He wrote his diploma thesis as a business information scientist about blockchain technology with the title Opportunities of Blockchain Technology. Thanks to his innovative thinking, Pascal is always up to date in the blockchain market and strives to analyze and evaluate new projects in advance. Doing research in this field is his passion. Pascal, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Fanny. Thanks.
And usually I say that let's start with an easy question, but I don't think that today this will be easy. What does blockchain mean?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So, a blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. So, for easy, you can keep in mind 3 main characteristics. So, of a blockchain, it is immutable, neutral, and decentralized. If you want to have a good example of what blockchain is, it makes sense to explain it with the most and famous blockchain. And that is the Bitcoin blockchain. So in the Bitcoin blockchain, you can split the word. So in the block, there are transactions. For example, Pascal, as me, wants to make a transaction to Fanny. That's good, right? So it is important to know that in a block, there are more than just the transactions. So it's not just one transaction. We have a lot of transactions in this block. After the transactions to Fanny, my transaction is in a block. So the miners look for each block and want to validate our transaction or my transaction to you. And also interesting is if my block offers more bounty than other blocks or for fee for the miner, then my transaction is validated faster than the other transactions. So I can edit a little bit my fees, the block or in my transaction. If my block offers more bounty or fees for the miners than other blocks, then my transactions validate faster than the other transactions or the other blocks. In every 10 minutes, the miners validate a new block. So each block on the network stores the hashed information from the previous block, meaning all the blocks are linked to each other. I don't go too deep dive, but it's a little bit insights. So the hash is essentially the information that identifies a block. And also the Bitcoin blockchain hashing using the SHA-256 hashing algorithm. This is a one-way hash function. So after everything is checked and approved by more than 51% of the miners, the transaction is illegal to be added to the chain and becomes immutable. So no one can modify after it, or no one can modify our transaction.
You talked about it. It seems that it's good for monetary purposes. So it's good for me sending you money or you sending me money.
Correct.
I'm also curious whether blockchain is useful for not just monetary purposes. Could you give us an example when blockchain is useful outside of money?
Of course. Now I think we are in a process where real use cases, just a peer-to-peer cash system, have more impact than before. What I mean is, if we go back 4 or 8 years ago, Bitcoin was just seen as a digital transaction solution, so a peer-to-peer cash system. But now we have a deeper understanding what is Bitcoin, or what can Bitcoin also be. For example, we had 2 months ago here in Switzerland a Swiss Bitcoin conference, and there was also the Swiss solution. It's the company Riot. This is a Bitcoin mining solution. You can integrate this miner into your heating system, and the waste heat from the miner is directly transferred to your heating system. So this way you can use the waste heat from the Bitcoin miner for your heating and potentially make money in the future. So that's not just a peer-to-peer. We have real use cases.
That's amazing. And I'm also somewhat aware that not just Bitcoin exists, but also Ethereum and others. I will not butcher other names.
Yeah.
The question is, why are you focused on Bitcoin instead of the other types of blockchains?
I have also looked into other Ethereum blockchain. That's another blockchain. For me, it's also important to have a look about this. I have another example from FrankenCoin. That's also a new project here in Switzerland. This is just also a little bit of it's not a peer-to-peer cash system, but it's also have something to do with the monetary system. So that's another solution. But this is also, FrankenCoin is also based on the Ethereum blockchain. I don't know, you know about Tether. That's the biggest stable coin in the market, in the cryptocurrency market. And we have stable coin is to make a fiat. Also, one Tether has to be one USDC or US dollar. So every time you want to buy or sell something, you can use Tether as a stable coin. And FrankenCoin makes not exactly the same, but is also a stable coin, but with the Swiss franc. And I think that has a huge potential or in the future. So when we have a look about the revenue from Tether in the Q1 this year, it's more than 4 billion. So that's revenue in Q1 2024. So that has a huge potential. So I don't say that FrankenCoin has the same. It's a nearly age stage project, but I look also for other chains, for other blockchains and other projects. So FrankenCoin. You can have also in the Tether, you can't be a part of the ecosystem. And in FrankenCoin, you can be part of the ecosystem of FrankenCoin. You can have the FPS, it's FrankenCoin pool share. And yeah, it's a little bit equal than you have a share from a bank. But it's open source. FrankenCoin is open source and you can have every insight. So it's extremely interesting topic. So if you want to go to GitHub or coding something, you can use everything and it's a lot of fun.
We will get back to what does blockchain mean to smart cities, because you just jumped into the passion and feeling for blockchain technologies.
Yeah.
So let's go with what has been your journey? Why are you working with this technology?
I think it's about my background, like in the IT field, or maybe also about my father. Maybe he's a IT engineer and also a part of the SEC. It's a regional global leader. I wanted to understand things a little bit more than just Google it or Google them and accepting the first answer. So, or first answer was correct. So I wanted to do a deeper research on this topic. And additionally, IT and finance was or have always been points of interest for me. And thanks to Bitcoin, I can combine this together.
It's fairly interesting to see this kind of transition from cash, basically, to digitalized, immutable, and decentralized finances. And it's fairly interesting that we are not just talking about finances themselves. What are the biggest challenges in this field?
That's also a good question. I think we don't need to educate everyone about the technology behind Bitcoin, but we have to bring out what we can do or what it brings for the different peoples around the world. So Bitcoin is a new solution and we can build a lot of things in this area. And today, not everybody understands the technology behind things like Bluetooth, or not every person understands how we can phone each other. So I don't think we have to educate every person about technology behind, but it's important to bring out what it brings. So yeah, blockchain, when we have a look in the current, or when we have a look in the last 10 or 20 years ago, we have some digital problems so that we need to address. So every solution requires problem. And in our digital case, we have three main pain points. It's a digital duplication. We have a centralization from our data. When you have a look about Facebook, Meta, or Microsoft, Google, and also Apple. And the other is the double spending problem. And educating people about this topic, it's not easy because it changed so fast. When we have a look how fast Bitcoin has the adoption 4 or 8 years ago, when I talked to another person or a banker, everyone was laughing at me speak about Bitcoin, and the adoption is so fast at the moment. But we will see also some ups and downs, and that's a part of the game, I think, for every technology, for every solution.
And with your description, I also got that we have these three problems: digitization, the centralization, and the double spending, which blockchain could solve. Mm-hmm. I assume this is a huge opportunity to solve these problems. But what are the big opportunities in the blockchain field?
When we have a look to Switzerland or Australia, we see Bitcoin as a store of value. We have money, or we have a little bit more stable financial system. But when we have countries like Turkey or Argentina, people need Bitcoin to pay for their food because their currency is losing value rapidly. So like Turkey, for example, has an annual inflation rate of 96%, and this every year. And I think with Bitcoin, it's very different on which part you are in the world. So for us, for me, with Swiss franc, I have a little bit more secure money.
It's a fascinating thing to see how blockchain can help bridge these uncertain times for these countries and how these opportunities could bring a better life for these people. I can imagine that, but again, I'm not a blockchain expert. Which brings me to the next question. What would you suggest for someone who would like to learn more about this field?
Yeah, I recommended starting with self-directed learning. So look for quality content like Andreas Antonopoulos on YouTube or Chichi. There are a lot of others good contents, but it's not so easy to find these persons. But I think also with my part as a blockchain thought leader for SEC, I can bring the informations out with good contents. And I think that's a good opportunity to join or have a look about SEC. I joined also meetups. I attend meetups. It's good for connecting with other peoples. So if you go to a Bitcoin meetup, you will find a lot of interested persons and also from different areas. You have different persons with various perspectives.
Pascal, thank you so much for your time. I highly appreciate your answers. Do you have any closing comments or requests for the audience?
Don't trust, verify.
That's very straightforward. Thank you so much, Pascal.
Welcome.
If you want to learn more about Pascal, links will be provided in the show notes, and the Smart Cities Council website can inform you even more. What have you learned from this interview? What questions do you have after listening to Pascal? What would you like to know more about? Let us know on the Smart Cities Council website or on LinkedIn. Look out for other episodes with the global thought leaders or topical discussions, and thanks for tuning in.